obviously have, it's like it's our third community meeting, just trying to work with the community, show the revisions, the changes. Dr. Kai, I don't want to stand up to tell the community a little bit about what we did after last time when we had a meeting in November.
Yes, I think we have a meeting last time. I could really have the feelings and the most objective things that the community really wanted us to have this work done, or have this what we have intention to really build. One thing I look at it that night, the stress, the main concern was parking on the neighborhood. And I took it very seriously that it was a very serious matter. It rained that night. We had like a little bit of rain that night. Well, I took and it was late when we really closed the meeting. I wanted to really do a research to see really what the community really wants was what really I will be a part of this community. And therefore I wanted to really show that I'm interested in the interest of the people. So what I did was, after everybody left, I stayed and I tried to drive around to see what it really looked at night, late at night. I drove and I parked out from the church. I took M Street. I drove through M Street and I made a right on 4th Street. I drove all the way through 4th Street. Then I made a left on Reed. And I went on the 5th. I drove back on 5th Street. I drove back and I came. It was one way to get back. I couldn't do it. I went all the way back again and drove. And I wanted to see how it looked like about parking issue for the community. So when I saw that really like what you all are stressing is really a need. It is a need. And if I have to increase more what I'm trying to do, and it will be more burden to the people living here. It will be more problem. It will be a big problem. Having more renters and not having enough places for them is uncomfortable. If you look at a mother, a man and a wife with children, and they come and park with their children, and they have to go far distance to park and leave the child. It's not healthy. It's not good. So in doing that, I thought it felt that I should do everything possible to have a real fair parking space for the community. So it was my thing, and I started to do more research. How I can increase parking, and even figure out how the community can gain from the parking area that I've created. So that is the main concern that we are mostly like trying to do. We're doing everything for us to all work together as one. We are not trying to deviate, and we try to do the best as we can to make sure that most of the issues we can be able to do. I would like her to talk more. I will come back again and tell you what the findings we are finding is all up in the air. Because every day you go to one contractor, they tell you one price. Another contractor is another price. So we try to figure out last weekend. So go ahead and look at that now. Maybe there will be some more questions than I can have.
So based obviously on that, Dr. Kai went back to Ron, and Ron then took a look at the different alternative designs and provided you some have here is a revised plan. Ron can also then Ron can walk through the revised plan and we can go from there.
Okay, so I'm glad to answer any questions you have. Also, if there go back over anything, versus previously, but also just what's been revised. What we're proposing now is we always had 9 parking spaces in this back area. What we're proposing to do is using the same curve cut that we had previously to get the parking, the surface parking. We'll basically split that drive aisle in two, and we'll still come back here with surface parking. But then what we'll also do is go down one level. And basically what that does is that provides us with a sort of one level below grade parking with 22 parking spaces in the garage, more or less. Obviously we're not complete with the design yet, but in essence we'll be adding 22 parking spaces to the property for a total of 31 parking spaces. And again, you can see that here. The traffic will come in off the bridge, and some people can come up here for the surface parking, and then others can go down to the parking structure below the bridge.
Can you just walk back through some of the design changes that occurred over the time frame from April to November design?
Yeah, I'll quickly sort of go over it. So, as everybody knows, this is an existing structure, essentially right here. And 2/3 of it is essentially an apartment building. The other third of it was at some point a retail space, and we're keeping, in essence, all of that block. And from a design perspective, what we're trying to do is this is a historic building, and we're offsetting. You can see, we are adding a third floor to this building, but it's going to be set way back so that you won't see that addition from the street. And then the new portrait.
Excuse me, can you face this when you talk?
Yeah, I'm
Because
sorry.
It's really hard. to hear.
This portion here is sort of the new portion of the building. We have a lot more flexibility from a historic perspective as to what we do with that. And so what we're proposing there is a 3-story structure and along 4th Street, which traditionally was sort of a larger scaled street. We're going to sort of respond to that with some slightly a larger building mass. But then as you turn the corner down Ridge, which is a much sort of smaller scale street, we're going to create bays or sort of row home type structures to sort of respond to the context along Ridge.
To back up, when we came to the community for our first meeting in November, I believe it was, no, April of the past, we had a penthouse, and so that was obviously removed based on some of the initial discussions with the community. There was more of a modern design, I believe people would call, or contemporary design, thank you, which is now not the lawyer, not the architect, has been obviously brought more into kind of what the community was, we were hearing from the community at that first meeting. And then at the last meeting, as Dr. Kai indicated, we heard a lot about concerns about parking. And so then that's where we've now modified the design again to provide the 22 below gate spaces plus the 9 at grade. What we're looking at doing would be then, if you can look at the numbers, 26 units, 31 parking spaces. There is then a surplus, even if every one unit owner wanted parking, there is a surplus of 5. We're looking at making those 5 then available to the direct community within 200 feet. And then that way, for people who live on 4th Street or on Ridge who have no alley access and would want parking, would be able to work with then the opportunity. Because we know that one of the things that we have heard through the process is that if people want parking, they can't get parking because all the parking garages are focused towards the convention center, which want to maintain those spaces not for resident uses, but rather for event uses. surplus the 5, but hopefully, work with the community and enhance supply on the street and supply. So, yes.
What is the size of the units? Are they going to be 2-bedroom?
A lot of them are going to be 2-bedroom. There's going to be, so the unit mix, I'm just going to read from the chart, sorry. 9 studios, 12 1-bedroom, 4 2-bedroom, and 1 3-bedroom.
See, because I think there's a flawed premise that you're operating from, which is that there will be only 1 car per unit. I don't see why you're confident of an excess of 5, because it seems to me you will have couples and possibly, say, a couple of 2 or 3 students moving in together to share a space, and they would have multiple cars among them.
I think that, one space, the parking ratio is actually 1 for every 3 units. So we are tripling the requirement on site. And so I think in that regard, from a development perspective, we only have to provide the 1 for every 3. As Dr. Bakai indicated, he was working with the community and trying to provide an excess of that. In addition to that, we were looking at providing no RPP for the property. So even if somebody did have 2 spaces, then they would not be able to park on the street, so it wouldn't be impacting the residents.
How would you keep the city from issuing an RPP to somebody?
There's multiple cases the BZA has supported that in regards to a contractual covenant. Any other questions or comments or suggestions or thoughts from the community?
You mentioned that there might be a little retail space there.
We had, back when we met in April, I don't think we even had the retail space on the project, but it was originally, the property, as Ron explained, was originally developed as an apartment building and a commercial use. And we heard from the community that they would actually prefer to see a neighborhood servicing retail establishment, something that the community would be able to walk to and utilize. So that's why we have one, and it's right here. It's 893 square feet. So it's not going to be something that's going to be so large, but hopefully it'll be something that will provide a service to the community. Dr. Kai does not know exactly what it would be, but it would be something that obviously could utilize that small type of footprint.
So you're saying that you're small for that? Because I know that Hoagie House at one point was going to put in something similar, and then find out later that they're not going to be doing that at all because the city has its own.
So, because, it's part of our BZA case, because this was originally a office use, or a retail use, and that it's a non-conforming property, and what we are doing under the zoning regulations, under 2100 for non-conforming uses, you can take a non-conforming use and in an R zone, it can be converted to a neighborhood servicing retail establishment. So we have to seek relief for that. We have to, or it's part of our submission. But we believe that with the community was looking for that, we believe something that would be positive that the community had requested. If the community doesn't want it, take it out and make it into a unit. But I think that most, I'm reading the heads shaking different out, but I believe that it was something that most of the community was looking for as something that would add to the neighborhood.
So like a coffee bar or maybe a wine bar or something like that?
I think like a coffee shop, something.
Yeah.
Are there any rules about
Yeah.
what type of business it could be?
I think there's a list, but it's typically shoe repair, dry cleaner, coffee shop, corner grocer. But it has to deal with number of seats, and we could go through, I think, and provide. But it is the neighborhood servicing retail establishment does have a confine.
And you're open to suggestions, but we would like it that.
Obviously, if you can find a retailer that will come and pay Dr. Kai for that space, and you can, if Chinatown Coffee is looking to expand into other locations, I'm sure that they would be very happy for you to assist in them finding a tenant.
I think that it would not be a problem because like other developments have done. I had a scenario like this, and it was all like a neighborhood wanted a store where they could have coffee
PennDOT today. And so it's something that we're working with to make sure that if, that we work with a local trash company and ensure that it's obviously accessible so that the trash can get on site.
Apologize for coming in late, but could you review the total number of units and then the breakdown of like 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom?
Sure, absolutely. So it's, there's 26 units total, with 9 studios, 12 one-bedrooms, 4 2-bedrooms, and 1 3-bedroom. And what we discussed at the beginning was that after last time, the community expressed the need for parking, so we looked into it. Dr. Kai has talked with contractors about excavating and providing a below-grade parking, which would be 22 spaces with a total of 31 parking spaces on site.
And did you have any discussions internally about the concerns expressed in the previous couple meetings about the total number of units, and how did that decision to stay with the total number of units at 26 around? How do you arrive at that?
Our understanding was that, and I'm sorry, I was not at the last meeting, I was at the meeting in April, but from our client and architect and my associate who is here, our understanding was the major issue was primarily parking in relationship to those number of units. And so we felt that we would focus on tackling that issue and then present it to the community, seeing that obviously we were to be able to have a surplus of units, surplus of parking for those original proposed units, and see if the community would be supportive of the original number.
So where 300, it was actually it was 2 rows. It was actually the parking and the density. So there was concern about the high density, that it was still too many units. So let me correct you there. That was, both were equally as important. So let me just follow this. So ironically, today I actually got a call from the office of planning. Normally, no one calls me directly. I have to keep calling them, right? But they actually reached out to me. And I said, oh, how ironic. I'm having a meeting tonight about this project. But what they told me, they might be familiar with this, they will not support this because of the amount of units, period. So when they asked you, Dr. Bakai, the owner, they had approved 2 previous plans with Dr. Bakai, years ago, right, Dr. Bakai? So they were like, they approved 2 plans, they're okay with those units before, but now they cannot approve this 26-unit project. So the question is, why not keep those earlier, smaller density plans? Because they said they're not going to support, I mean, that's, well, let me go back. She's the one who's, but they're saying, the government's saying today, as of this afternoon, they're not going to support at all. So we're ready for support.
neighbors with doors knocked down. So having more people and more bodies
for this community. If the community wants to know like projects that are done, go to 11th and T Street. It's 1900 11th Street. 1900. That community had every kind of crime in that community. They had people, they had guys who were robbing the people in the community. It was an empty lot. An empty lot in that place. I entered inside that place and bought a lot. I made sure I changed that community. When I built there, every people around the whole of that whole area, they all developed their properties around. Every time they see me, they really respected all the meetings I go to. They said, Doctor, you did the best for us. Another example that I will show you, I built over so many, I developed a lot of properties. I'm really trying to develop this property. But I want you all to understand, for you all to work with me, and trust me, I will work on this property, you all will be proud of it. You will be really proud of what I will build there. It will be very neat property. And therefore, I'm appealing to you all, I'll do my best. I'll make sure you all happy. I'll put parking, and the moment I know how much it's going to cost me to pay for the parking to build, the moment I know, I will know what I will do. I will give this, I will make sure the community has a good rate, a rate that will be reasonable for the community and myself. What I'm appealing to you all, let's do the work. I'm appealing for you all to support the work. Support, you don't support, I will tell you all that I will do the best I can, and I'll make sure city is not going to tell me that the property, I have to do it if I don't have the money, and I'm not going to make profit. Everything you do is profit. If you're not going to, I'm not going to make elaborate profit, no, but I'll make sure I will change the community. So I'm appealing to you all to really do the best for us to go through this. If we don't go through this building will be there for the next 3 years, I promise. There is nothing the city can do. All they will tell me is that pay my taxes, pay. And I'll fix it in such a way, I'll put people there that I'll do the best I can, but let's work together. All right.
So I mean, that's for when they call literally, like, so I don't know.
No, and we as the council, we have worked with the community, we work with OP, and OP in other cases, they do not do a financial analysis. The board of zoning does understand and does weigh, actually, it's gone to the Court of Appeals, and they have acknowledged that in a PCA case, you can argue that is a financial feasibility issue, or issue, and so, you know, as Dr. Price work the numbers, you're here because we need support, we want to support the community, we also we have an American case, we're trying to, as Dr. President, work with the community, hear the concern, and evolve the project. We think that over the last, you know, third meeting, over the last 3 meetings, the project has evolved, and, you know, it's a zoning process, obviously, is a process that allows transparency, community input, and we think that at the end of the day, this project now is better than the amount of progress that Dr. President would have built. And so we're hoping to get the community support, go to the zoning planning committee, and then go to the full agency.
A tail end question to Matt's question, which is about the number of use and the mix. And at the last meeting, we had a conversation about our neighborhood in general, the changing market of the neighborhood, and that folks, or at least myself, feel that there's an appetite for families to move into the neighborhood, and so you have turning families or kids who would like to stay in the line, and then there are things that we're supposed to do that instead of smaller studios or people probably feel more confusing. So was there discussion of that, we would